Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRFBets race of the day for Sunday, October the 13th. Race number 7 at Belmont Park. We're going 1.5 miles on the Widener turf. It's the point of entry stakes. Before we get to the analysis, I do want to remind you that DRF Belmont Clocker reports available throughout the entire fall championship meet. Mike Welsh and his expert team of clockers grade every single morning workout. It is a perfect complement to your daily racing form past performances. Let's meet the field for the point of entry. And remember, you can download free Formulator past performances for the race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them and handicap along with us. 1.5 mile races. Usually paceless affairs. Let's see what the Timeform US Pace Projector has to say. And they believe that the stretch-out sprinter, the number 6, is going to make the front in here. Noble Indy, coming off of a gate-to-wire winner in which he controlled the slow pace. He's expected to be out there as well, but I would think Perret's going to make the front.
Yeah, I can't argue with that pace projector, Dan. I suspect the stretch-out sprinter will try to make the lead, but Noble Indy's got plenty of speed. He should be up close.
Number 1, Orocha does have speed, and I think he can probably tuck into that nice spot in third where Timeform US has him. This is a horse that was a multiple Group 1 winner in his native Brazil, and he just hasn't transferred that form yet to North America. Chad had him twice, Brad Cox had him last time out, and he's still trying to figure out the game in North America. A good trip is coming. Maybe he fits best at this level.
Yeah, this is probably the right kind of race for him. We'll see what he does here. His first 2 starts, he was just in too tough in those races. I don't know. When I go back to watch that race at Ellis last time, he didn't run terribly. He spent a lot of time between horses, not the most comfortable trip in the world, but he still didn't run that great, I didn't think.
Number 2 is Carlino, and he's a one-run closer that's going to need some pace and race luck. He also needs to prove that he wants the turf. He's in this race because we know he likes distance. He wants every bit of this 1.5 miles, but it is a big ask for him coming from last on the turf.
Yeah, I don't really look at him as a turf horse, although he does have some pedigree for grass. That's for sure. I don't know, Dan. I don't like him in races like this. As opposed to, I think the common way to look at this horse and to say he really wants distance, I don't think he does. I think he's better between 8 and 9 furlongs. In these longer races, he just grinds on, and he's never really a factor in those races.
The 3 is Red Knight, and he's graded stakes place this year. He's also a very tough ride. So it's going to be up to Junior Alvarado either to try to make the front with him, which I wouldn't do, or to try to get him covered up behind horses. Because if he doesn't, Red Knight will pull his arms out of their sockets. And that's kind of been a problem with this horse. He has got a lot of talent and easily can win this race given the right trip.
Yeah, I look at him the same way. He could easily beat this field with his good race. He needs the right trip, and he sort of needs to turn his form around, too. His last 3 or 4 races, they are not his best performances. They got him back in with New York Breds last time. I just didn't think that he ran that well. He got a pretty good trip in that race. He was never really a factor at the end. He needs to get back to one of his good races.
Todd Pletcher has this race surrounded from a pace standpoint. He has the 4 Noble Indy close to the pace, the 5 Pillar Mountain coming from well out of it. Todd Cross entered Noble Indy in the feature race at Belmont on Monday. That looks like a tough spot, but at a shorter distance that we know Noble Indy likes. If he runs here, he's going to have to prove his mettle at 1.5 miles. But we'll go back to his most recent race, and this was just a merry-go-round, wasn't it, Mike? He got to the front. He's down inside. They run 1, 2, 3 around the track. It's hard to really judge if Noble Indy improved or was just simply flattered by the pace situation.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he ran his typical race. Since they've switched him to turf this summer, he's sort of run the same race every time, and I think he did it again here. He just had the best trip in the race, and he holds on right to the wire. The horse that was chasing there, Have At It, had been badly off form before that race. It looks like maybe he stepped back to one of his good races there, and if he did, that's a good sign for Noble Indy.
Do you trust this horse at 1.5 miles?
I'm not, when I look at him, Dan, I don't worry that much about the distance with him. If he can get the right trip in this race, I think he will see out the distance.
Pillar Mountain is the number 5, and I really liked his race 3 starts back at Saratoga. He fell far behind. He was on the rail on the back stretch. He got a really nice ride from Joel Rosario, swinging to the outside at just the right time, and then he rolled those horses down late. The Sword Dancer, probably too tough against the likes of Annals of Time and Sadler's Joy. Todd said they wheeled him back a little too fast, and boy, you rarely see Todd run a horse back in 14 days. He ran him in the Kentucky Turf Cup last time out. Pillar Mountain's the kind of horse that you could make the argument is the best closer in this race, and distance will not be an issue.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the distance is fine. I think he is the best closer in the race. And I think, the way I look at it anyway, he's really the only horse in here with any upside at all. And I think he's got a lot of it. His 2 wins in June and July, I thought he ran really well in both of those races. He had a lot of pace in front of him in those starts, but I also liked the races he ran. To me, he was just in over his head in his last 2 starts.
Perrette was a sprinter in his native Australia. He is multiple stakes place sprinting here, although he has gone 7.5 furlongs with some ability, but this is just a different world. Stretching out from 5.5 to 12, you would expect Edgar Prado to try to make the lead with this horse, but Noble Indy is going to be breathing down his neck, probably entering the final turn.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he could just, walk on the lead in this race. We'll see how that all plays out, even if he does. I didn't see him last in the 1.5 miles.
Manitoulin has some back class, Mike. He won the Grade 2 Hollywood Turf Cup back in 2017, got beat less than a length in the Manhattan in 2018. And Michael Matz got him back to his winning form last time out, going 1.1 miles at Colonial Downs. Now his buyers are a bit light this year. Maybe he's getting a little bit long in the tooth at the age of 6, but I think he fits the race very well from a class perspective.
I do too. I think he's really dangerous in this race. I liked that they gave him a little confidence boost last time, dropped him in class, let him get a win. His race at Ellis 2-back, he was wide every step of the way. There could never get over to save any ground. I didn't think he ran poorly at all there. He's got plenty of back races that could beat this field.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the DRFBets Sunday race of the day, the Point of Entry Stakes. Your top pick is my second choice. It's Pillar Mountain. I'm hoping that Noble Indy just gets the jump on these, turning for home, and can outstay him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I was torn between Pillar Mountain and Manitoulin. They're the 2 horses I like best. I went 5-7-3.
They'll be the horses that'll be charging hardest in the stretch. It's the $100,000 Point of Entry Stakes, race 7 at Belmont Park on Sunday. Approximate post time 4:40 Eastern. Good luck.